Welcome to Part 5 of the Savvy Submitter's Guide to Issues, Resolutions, and Principles. This video goes into more detail about what happens after you complete your submission, as well as your responsibilities as a submitter. You have submitted your online proposal form and uploaded your required Word document. Now what? Submissions go through many steps along the way. First, the Advocacy or Resolutions Committee does an in-depth review of all submissions using the appropriate checklist. Submitters should be available during the committee meeting to answer questions on the submission. The Advocacy Director or Resolutions Chair will let submitters know the meeting date. After that review, a member of the committee will get back to submitters with the status of their proposal. The committee may have feedback that would strengthen the submission and may also suggest submissions be combined as needed. It is likely that not all submissions will move forward. Once the feedback has been considered by submitters, the next step is the committee vote. If the submitter agrees with the committee feedback, that is the version that will be considered by the committee. If the submitter does not agree with the committee feedback, then the committee may forward to the Board of Directors two different versions, the original submission and a second version incorporating committee feedback. The committee will provide the Washington State PTA Board of Directors a written report detailing the submissions received and the committee's recommendations. The committee will have two recommendations for each submission. First, whether the committee recommends the board moves the submission forward to delegates or not. Second, if the committee recommends the board moves it forward, is it with a recommendation to adopt, to reject, or with no recommendation? The Washington State PTA Board of Directors will review the submissions and committee feedback and make the final determination as to which submissions will be presented to the membership for consideration. The Board of Directors may amend a submission before presenting it to the membership. The board may also refer a submission back to committee for further review or clarification. Legislative Assembly occurs in October. Submissions approved by the Board of Directors will be presented for debate, possible amendment, and vote for possible adoption by the voting delegates at Legislative Assembly. Resolutions may also be voted on at our annual convention. The members have the final vote on what does and does not become part of the Washington State PTA legislative platform. And finally, it's time to advocate. Once it has been voted on by the members, it is part of the platform and we can get to work. Submitters have responsibilities throughout the entire process. Prior to Legislative Assembly or Convention, they must be available by email and phone to work with the committee on the submission as needed. All submitters must create an education PowerPoint presentation and proposed handouts if applicable. These presentations and handouts are due approximately 1 month prior to Legislative Assembly or Convention. In addition, issue submitters must also prepare a one-page position paper for their issue if it is advanced to the Board of Directors. Examples of position papers can be found on the Advocacy main page of the website. It is crucial that all submitters make sure they are PTA members, are registered for Legislative Assembly or Convention, and are designated as a voting delegate by their PTA president. Only voting delegates are allowed to speak from the microphone, an important part of supporting your submission. Submitters also have responsibilities at Legislative Assembly or Convention. You want to build support for your submission, so make sure to network prior to the vote. You or your representative will present your education PowerPoint to attendees to encourage adoption and to help them understand your submission. Be prepared to be the expert on your topic. Submitters should also bring all pertinent information to share during caucusing. You want to answer questions, gather support, and try to overcome objections. Be ready to counter the opposition's arguments by understanding who will not support your submission and why. Finally, you should prepare an opening persuasive statement for the debate and have additional talking points to share with other delegates who want to speak in support of the submission. More information and examples about the education presentation, one-page position papers, and caucusing will be sent to submitters prior to Legislative Assembly and Convention. The Washington State PTA Advocacy Director, Resolutions Chair, and their committees will support you through the entire process. Assuming your submission is adopted, there's more work to do. During the legislative session, you will be invited to participate in the weekly Advocacy Committee calls that address bills and action on Washington State PTA issues and long-term positions. As needed, you may be asked to help prepare testimony, testify in Olympia, and recruit other potential leaders to move your submission through the legislative process. Thank you in advance for your passion and dedication. We look forward to you being part of our Advocacy Committee team.